Hi everyone. I wanted to make another movie because I just went to a training yesterday on the tapping or peace clinic model, and was learning some more things about it, and I wanted to tell you some more specifics to help you. The other thing is that the method works great on your own. However, it is really good to have somebody help you, and I would be happy to help you if you contact me to kind of work your way through something. But it's a totally doable method on your own. And anyway, so this is really a great technique to use on trauma. So if you've had anything traumatic happen in your life, in fact, if you think about it right now, what's the most traumatic thing that's happened to you? So just imagine that for a second. And the part of the brain that pulls that up is the librarian or the hippocampus. And it just instantly called up something, didn't it? What about if I were to tell you that you could remove all emotion from that memory, from that thing that happened to you or whatever, and you were able to just look at it as a memory without any emotion? What if we could take the trauma out of the traumatic event that happened to you? This is totally doable, and what's great about this is that as you release trauma and as you release the emotion and your body is able to do what it does, the thing is that the trauma or the pain was stored in your body. It has mass, and what that means is that you could be holding all sorts of tension in your shoulders or wherever, and by releasing the trauma, by using this technique, you can actually remove pain. So I don't know how to explain it to you. I just hope you try it on one thing. Just try it. So maybe even think of that traumatic event. And don't think about it too long, but what I want you to do is I want you to think about it, and I want you to figure out what emotion you have that comes forward, and maybe take a piece of paper and write down the different emotions, because often it's like maybe it's fear and sadness and humiliation, or I don't know. Whatever it is, go ahead and write those down. And then think about it on a scale of 1 to 10. Which emotion is the strongest, and what level is that emotion? And then you just go ahead and get started. Remember, the reason why we do this, it's not some kind of weird, like mumbo jumbo or some sort of thing. This is brain chemistry. And in education, I am all about teaching from the brain, a whole brain approach. The brain is the key to everything, friends. And in terms of life, this is so great. So what happens is that your amygdala thinks that you're having the problem right now. Whatever that traumatic event that the hippocampus called up, immediately that event or events, those things your brain thinks is happening right now, even though it happened when you were 11. And so the point is that you can remove the emotion, and it's just stopping the brain, helping the brain realize you are not in a fight, flight, or freeze mode. You are not currently being traumatized. Therefore, you can just let it go. So I say to you, I challenge you, I'm always challenging you in terms of fitness, but why not try this? Yes, it is a little weird, but try it. Can you imagine being able to think about the most traumatic thing in your life and not crying your eyes out? Or not getting so angry you want to do something to somebody? What if you were free? Isn't that the way we're meant to be? Isn't that the way we're meant to roll? So take that event for a minute now. And go ahead, like I was saying, on a piece of paper, write down the emotions that you have the strongest feelings about. Let's say fear. And you say, okay, my fear, when I think about this, it was pretty scary. It was a level 8 out of 10. Okay, so now before you start tapping, I want you to elevate the fear. I know this is going to be a little hard and you're probably going to cry, which is actually good. And what I want you to do is you think about the event, kind of start to relive it. Elevate that fear or whatever the emotion is that you're tapping on and try to get it to a 10 or a 15 or a 20. Just be going crazy, because the more you can activate the amygdala, the more you feel the feeling, the more you can release it and how fast it goes. Okay, so let's say you're at a 10. You're just like, oh, I can't believe this. You're remembering what happened. Okay, and so now then I want you to just put your hand over your heart, and it doesn't have to be any specific exact place. It doesn't have to be, it's not like you're beating yourself up. It can be just a very light touch. And by the way, let's say your mother had something very traumatic happen, or an older person you know and you want, or anybody really, you can actually do this on other people. The way that our pastor was demonstrating it last night is that he stood behind the person and was tapping, with his hand like this on their, right near their heart. So, and he was explaining that we hold a lot of our feelings in our heart, which makes sense. And somehow by doing this right here, we are disconnecting that brain chemistry and that chemical. So anyway, I don't really completely understand how it works, but all I know is it so works. So anyway, so you think about that event. You get yourself escalated in your feeling to a level 10 or whatever, as high as you can. And then remember what to say. This isn't actually a script you have to say, but it's something to the effect of where you own what you're feeling, and then you let it go. You got to own it because it's yours, and this is your movie and your story, and you got to let it go. And so basically, you just say, all this fear I'm feeling, I'm so scared. This is my fear. This is my emotion. And I am going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. And you keep tapping. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it all go. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. All this fear I'm feeling, this is my fear. I own it. These are my movies. This is my story. This is my memory. And I'm going to let it go. Do it maybe once or twice or 3 times. I mean, like I said, it's not a science. Then go ahead and take a couple deep breaths. Really good. In through the nose, out through the mouth, and then see where you are. Say to yourself, okay, what level of fear am I at now? What level are you at now? And then say, okay, I'm at a 6. It's going down. I'm at a 6. All this fear, I'm at a 6. I feel the 6. This is my fear. I own this fear. But boy, am I ready to let it go. I am so done with this. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it all go. Because I'm worth it. I'm going to let it go. Couple more deep breaths. Where are you now? You're at a 4? Okay, good. Keep going. I'm at a 4 now. This fear is a 4. It was a 10, then a 6, and now it's a 4. And I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it all go. I'm going to let it go. And you keep going. Let's say you get it down to a 2. Tap again. Own it, let it go, and then keep going until you get to a 0. And I mean a 0. Don't let it stay anywhere. This is something I learned just this week. You don't want to just stop. You actually do feel a zillion times better after you've like maybe got it down to a 6 or a 5 because you're not crying hysterically and you're not having this huge reaction. But you got to get it to a 0 because then you release the trauma completely. So, aren't you worth this? Aren't you worth the time? And then I challenge you to do this. Clear that traumatic event. Now wait a minute, maybe you say, well, Catherine, I had fear and anger and sadness. Okay. Tap out fear. Then think. What he was talking about last night, the really cool thing is there's a cascading effect. And so when you get rid of that fear, then the anger is there, but you would have been at a level 9 anger or something. But because you got rid of the fear, now you're at a 4 or something. And then say, okay, I'm going to tap out the anger at level 4. And then get it to 0. And then say, okay, now sadness was down on my paper. How sad am I? Oh, I'm only at 2 in sad. Okay. So tap on sad and then get that to a 0. And then see how your body feels. It's pretty cool. You're going to feel healthier, happier, more at peace. You're going to release some muscles. You might be able to do something you weren't able to do. This is what your body is built to do. You are not meant to hang on to trauma. Maybe you say, well, Catherine, I didn't have anything traumatic happen. I don't know, this is something that's only used for people who are truly abused or something. No, guess what? You have something. Maybe it was just when somebody called you a name in 3rd grade. Maybe it was when somebody made fun of you, or maybe it was when a teacher embarrassed you. You have something. So tap it out. I dare you. See how good you feel. That's it. Bye.